So help me out with this, okay? So we're going to fill out all these different spots. And again, this is your reference sheet for the test. So if you're confused about something, just use a sheet. I'm going to walk you through each step. It's going to be kind of abstract because we're talking, we don't have an sample in front of us that we're walking us through, but what goes in box A3? First job, right? Age, first job. I think we all kind of got that. What goes in box A4? How do we do that?
3 plus 1.
Equals, I'm going to write this down here, equals A3 plus 1. That's what's going to go in this box. Your boxes are bigger than mine. You could probably sneak that in there better than I could. And then what do we do? Drag it down, right? We're going to drag that all the way to what? To death. Someone was asking if the number over here says 102, do we drag to that number or to the death number? And so it's the death number, right? So if they're dying at 95, then you're going to drag it down until you have 95 in that box. Okay? That's awful looking up there, but I think we're good with that. Everyone seemed to understand that. Income increases percent. So before I was giving you these without them being blank. I'm going to make them blank. I think that makes life a little bit easier. What do we put in B3? Yeah.
You said B3?
B3. What goes in B3? Starting income. Yep. So whatever that first income is, goes into B3. So this is starting income. I have hardly enough room. Do you guys have enough room in your boxes? Yeah. What goes in B4? Equal. This is going to equal B3 times 100. And let's go ahead and just put a number up here for the sake of sanity. Give me a growth number. 10's way too high. 2.5 makes sense. Okay, so let's just sneak in 2.5. So it's 102.5%. And we're going to drag that to what? Retirement. We drag that to retirement. You think this is helping? This is going to help you? Okay. I kind of hope that we could do it without the sheet, but I'm okay if we need it. If this was our job, we would do 10 of them with the sheet, and then from there on out, we'd never use the sheet again. But okay, so all the way to retirement. C3. Yep, but let's come up with a percentage. What's a good percentage to put money away? 8. Okay, so let's just sneak in 8 there for a sample. And that C3 equals what? This equals B3 times 8%. Some of you wanted to call it 108%. That means you're putting all of your pay away plus 8% more of all of your pay. Okay, so you can't do that. It's just 8%. And then what do we do to that? You went like this. We're just going to drag that down to what? To retirement. We put money into the account until we get to retirement. That's the ugliest looking retirement I've ever written, but. Okay. And then D3. Good. C3 divided by 24. And that's really helpful because that gives them an idea of how much he or she is going to take out each check to retirement. Some things we do until we die. Some things we do until we retire. It's like pre-death. Just kidding. Pre-death? You like that?
No, I think pre-death.
Pre-death?
I'd rather skip death.
Really?
When you die before you.
Okay, retirement account with growth. Give me a growth number. Way too, 25,000%? Okay, that would be pretty, I would work 1 year and retire.
7%.
7% is a pretty fair growth number.
This is a weird one to add.
So the first year, the E3, this is just going to equal C3. This is just going to equal whatever we put away our first year. That's it. You put $1,000 in, you call them up. How much do I have in there? You put in 1,000. Well, so how much do I have now? 1,000. Oh. Not the first year. First year is just what you put in there. Okay, and then E4 is where it gets a little complicated. E4 equals E3, right? Whatever we had, times 107% plus what? What's the new money we're going to put in there? Where are you getting this? Plus C4. Okay, C4 is over here. This is money that we're putting in our account. So C3 or E4 equals the year before. We're going to keep our account. It's going to grow 107% plus the new money. C3 is already in there. Okay, C3 goes here. This is going to equal the line above it times 107% because it's going to be all that money plus 7% growth plus our new money we put in there. That's probably one of the trickiest ones. And we drag that down to what? No. Retirement. Because when we retire, we're going to stop putting money in. So let's say that this is our, I don't know, I put these numbers on here. Let's just say that this is our retirement line. Okay? So we'll call that retirement. So age column, age is fine. We don't do anything with that. What do we do with our income on our first year of retiring? So this is, we're actually retired. This is when we have to know how much they're going to spend in the retirement. So what's a fair number percentage for retirement spending? How much of your income? 80%. So this is going to equal B65 times negative 80%. Because you are no longer making money, you are now just spending it. Negative 80%. And that's 80% because that's a percentage that Raylan gave us. So it could be 75, it could be whatever the directions say. Okay? Let me clarify that. This 80%, make a note, this is, how do I phrase it on my sheet? Living on 80%. Okay? So the one we're going to do today is living on 75%. Then what's the line below that going to be? We can't just drag this. So once we have that 80% number, then this next line is going to equal B66, so whatever that line is above it, times, anybody know? $102.5%. Because we're going to pay ourselves a little bit more each year so that if we live for 30 years and gas doubles in price, we can still afford to drive our car. Okay. Retirement payment, the next column, this is just going to be completely blank. Okay, we're not going to pay any money into our retirement, and our pay, the amount, that's just going to be blank. You don't have to really do anything. I'm just putting X's in there to say nothing. You don't have to fulfill it with X's. You don't have to do anything. Now our retirement plan. Or actually, before we do that, let's talk about Social Security. Okay, so our Social Security, we don't get it until we're retired. Okay, so if we have money here, then our first pay from Social Security is going to be the line below it. Okay, so it's going to be on the same. It's the same here, but it's on the line, and some people were put on the wrong line. You cannot collect Social Security until you retire. This has not changed. This is an estimate. When I look up how much people usually get on Social Security, it's usually 30% of their highest pay. Their highest pay is going to be their last pay. Okay, so we come over here. Our Social Security benefit is going to equal, it goes right there, B65 times 30%. That's going to grow. So the line below that, Raylan's going to tell us this line right here, I'm going to kind of put it off to the side, equals F66 102.9%. And what do we do with that? Thank you. And that we drag that to death. Finally, we have our retirement growth, our retirement account, which we're going to spend money from. Let's see, we got Matt's absent. Brandon, Walker. Four, five, six, seven. Okay, and then finally our E66 line. We're going to add and take away, but we got to be careful because this line here is going to end up being negative, but our E66, and I didn't really give myself much room, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Okay, E66. We're still going to have growth. Okay, so this equals E65 times 107%. So we're going to have growth from the year before. We're going to add into it our Social Security. So plus our Social Security is F66 plus B66. And that really, when you're adding B66, it's going to do what? Yeah, B66 is a negative number. So we're adding that cost. So it actually will shrink that. If you retire, if you have a really good interest rate in your retirement growth, right, and you put enough money away, we've seen that people can end up having more money when they die than when they started out. Of course, money is not worth as much after 10, 20 years, right? So it doesn't account for inflation, but it's nice to know that your money is growing and not shrinking, okay? Most people, when they retire, they're going to find that their money is shrinking very, very fast, faster than they want it to be, okay? Retiring at 80% of your income is actually really good. And then I forgot to mention this, we're going to drag this to what? Death. And then we're going to answer questions. Most of the questions come from, I think I'm going to ask stuff like, how much do you have, how much does the person have when they retire? Where is that? When they retire. That's how much their income is when they retire. Yes, the E65 is how much they ever retire. I'll ask how much do they have at age 80? If for some reason they died, how much would they have left over? I'll ask, when do they run out of money? How much in debt or how much money do they have when they die? So you might be in debt or you might have money. People get very creative. Anyone ever heard of reverse mortgage? So you can sell your house to the bank and they give you, instead of you paying off your house, they give you money. And then when you die, they just get the house. So if you do that, they give you $1,000 and you die, boom, they just bought a house for $1,000. Okay? Or you live for 30 more years and they keep giving you money and going, gosh, we need to send someone over there to check on them. Thanks for reading between the lines for me, Jay. All right. Any questions? This is the only thing you're allowed to use on the test. Anything else you feel like we should add to this? Okay. You look like, okay. So I am going to give you a practice for some